Okay, so you got approved for some money for your business, or maybe you're about to go and get some business credit for your business. If you really want to use it to grow and scale your business, keep watching because I'm going to tell you exactly how to use the funds to grow your business exponentially faster. And if you are considering using cash to do this, you definitely need to listen as to why you want to use credit instead of your cash. Most businesses stay stagnant because they don't do the things I'm about to tell you to do. So we're going to make sure that isn't the story for you and your business. First, let me show you some examples of how other entrepreneurs use credit cards to fund their businesses, get what they needed, and grow exponentially bigger. And I'm going to run through a few examples really quickly. First, let's talk about Under Armour and how they got started. Okay, so the owner, Kevin Plank, he was 24 when he decided to start the business, and he came up with the idea while playing football. That was in 1995. So the next year, he used 20K of his personal savings and 40K in credit card debt to launch the company. Now, at this point, he's used a total of $60,000, with the majority of that coming from credit. And of course, he used this to get all of the things that he needed, so he had inventory to sell. At the end of his first year, he had sales totaling $17,000. And then the very next year, after he used his credit to get everything that he needed, he made $100,000 in sales selling product to 12 NFL football teams. Then he was asked to create uniforms for any given Sunday. The important thing to see here is that if he wouldn't have had the credit available, which he had double the amount of credit that he actually had cash on hand, if he wouldn't have had that, he wouldn't have had enough money to get all of the inventory that he needed to be able to sell to 12 NFL teams. So him having access to credit, unlike the availability to get more product to bring in more money. Now, that was a retail example. Here's a tech example. Did you know that Google got started by using credit cards? So as you can see here, the founders of Google used credit cards to fund their enterprise back in the 90s. They used the cards to purchase computers and open source software initially, and then eventually they created their own proprietary search engine software. Now, as you can imagine, back then, computers and open source software was a lot more expensive to get access to than it is today. So again, them having access to more credit than they probably had on hand in cash allowed them to get the ability to get what they needed to make something as, monstrously big and profitable as Google. Have you heard of Guitar Hero? Their owner maxed out his credit cards to finance the company, which is the highest grossing game in US history. And according to what he said, his company regrets nothing, and without the ability to use credit cards to finance his venture, he wouldn't be where he is today. Because he was able to use those credit cards back in 2007, he was able to mass produce the product and grow the business. And here's one last example. Filmmaker Kevin Smith, he used credit cards to fund his initial independent movie. It was back in 1990. The movie was called Clerks, and it grossed more than $3 million in theaters. Now, it says here he used 10 credit cards to finance the movie and ended up spending close to 1,800 pounds for the entire movie. And 18,000 pounds is, based off the exchange rate right now, about 23,000 US dollars. So because he had access to that much money in credit cards, he was able to get his movie done, and he made $3 million off of that. Now, had he not had access to that money, because obviously he must not have had the cash, or he wanted to hold on to his cash, then he would not have the opportunity to make $3 million. So hopefully from these examples, you can see how having access to capital can give you the ability to do things you weren't able to do before and grow your business faster. Below in the description, I have a list of the best business credit cards that you can get right now. So go and check that out. Now let's cover why using business credit works so well, and especially better than cash. The first reason is you get the ability to float payments while you're waiting for money to come in. And if you do it the right way with business credit cards that have 0% interest for an introductory period, you get to do this at no extra cost. So it's the same as using cash. And when I say float payments, I just gave you some examples of that. Basically, say don't have all of the money to get all the inventory you need, to get the advertising that you need for your business, or whatever it might be. You now have access to some money that you can use, and then you don't have to pay off the entire amount, or you didn't have to come out that full amount in cash and be at zero. You can cover the payment for everything that you need, and then you can wait more patiently while that money comes in. Now, of course, you would have a monthly payment on that credit card balance. But what most people don't realize is that monthly payment, the minimal payment that is due, is very, very small. Let's say, for example, let's go on a high end first. If you had a $75,000 credit card and then you use that and you max it out for 75K. Now, with that, you probably got a lot of things for your business or you something that was extremely big. Whatever it is, it should be something that can generate a return on your investment. But even at 75K being spent, your monthly payment on the credit card is usually going to be about 1%. So you'll be paying $750 a month on that $75,000 that you spent. And again, that's relatively small compared to what you have spent. And if you would have came out of pocket 75,000 and that's all you had, you would just be at zero and then you would be trying to figure out how to make that payment. Now, let's say, on a smaller end, you just needed 10K to do whatever it is you need to do. Your monthly payment on that at about 1% is going to be about $100. So now you spent 10K, you got what you need. All you have to be responsible for is $100 payment until all of the money that you are looking to come in comes in. Again, all this at 0% interest. So you're not paying any interest on the money during that introductory period. And if you are a person that has, some cash on hand, this allows you to keep that cash on hand so you can stay liquid. So, let's say you have 10,000 in hand, but you want to get a bunch of inventory in so that you can have supplies before the holiday season. Because when November comes, December comes, people are going to be spending money anyway. So you want to get everything that you need on hand so you can make a bunch of sales. So you don't want to use your 10,000 in cash because then you would just be broke while you're waiting on the money to come back in. If you get access to a $10,000 credit card, now you still have your 10,000 in cash just in case. You can afford that $100 payment that you would have coming in every month until you start to see a return for those sales that are going to come in. And let's say, you have some other things that come up that you also need to get that you find out will be beneficial for you to do. Maybe pay for some advertising, maybe get a few more inventory items. You still have your cash on hand. So now you can use that cash to get those few extra things, but you spent the bulk of the money on credit and you can still, again, have that payment floating out there until you get all of the sales that you were looking for to come in. Again, helping you stay liquid while still doing everything you need to do for your business. Now, another major benefit is you having access to more money than you might have had saved. Like in that example for Under Armour, basically he had 20,000 saved up, which is a good bit of money, but because he had access to 40,000 more in credit, now he can get exponentially more. He was selling, shirts and apparel. So basically, when you buy that in bulk, you can get it a lot cheaper. So now he's also getting to experience savings on his inventory because he was able to buy it in larger amounts, which also allowed him to be able to sell to higher end clientele, which was the NFL, who's going to have a higher demand and need more from you. Wouldn't it be nice to have a big retailer reach out to you and say, hey, we want to put your items in our store, but we need a large quantity of them. If you don't have access to the money to get that number of items, you might not be able to get access to have your stuff put on display in a bigger storefront than you might have been able to facilitate yourself. So now you're missing out on an opportunity to make money and an opportunity for extra exposure. So again, having access to extra capital in larger amounts than what you are able to, have on your own in liquid cash opens up a lot more for you in your business. And it's also a lot quicker. If you say we're putting money to the side from your current income, from your current job to try to save to do some things in your business, you have to wait for each paycheck to comes in. That could be every month, like once a month if you get a salary. It could be twice a month or maybe even weekly. But the thing is, you do have to stack up that money, wait for it to come in. All the while, opportunities might be passing you up. Maybe there's, discounts offered on some of the things that you need for the business. And then you have to miss out on the sales while you're waiting to get up enough money to get it versus you going to a bank, getting approved for, $20,000. $50,000 on the spot. Now you immediately have access to money versus having to wait to save up money so that you don't miss sales, you don't miss opportunities. So it gives you the ability to act faster than other business owners might be able to do. And, just think about this from a competition standpoint. If your competition that, maybe sells the same thing or a similar thing to what you sell, if they are sitting there waiting and stacking up money in order to get the inventory they need to be able to be ready for the holiday season, and you got approved for some credit And now you immediately have access to get what you need to get. You can get what you need faster. You can put your product out before your competitors, or maybe even pay for more advertising than your competitors. So then your name is more on top of mind. It allows you to be able to beat out your competition. Now, another overlooked benefit is the fact that you get rewarded for using business credit cards versus using your cash. If you spend your cash, you basically get absolutely nothing for it other than whatever it is that you paid for. If you're paying for your expenses, whether it be advertising, whether it be inventory, whether it be equipment that you need, you are actually getting points for spending, which gives you access to more money or other rewards or points that you can use for other things within your business, or maybe to travel personally or for business. You're unlocking extra benefits just as a result of already doing what you would have done with your cash. Again, this is something that you can't do with cash because you don't get any extra benefit from it. So this is all in all giving you a double reward for using credit versus using cash. And again, this is at 0% interest. So there is no cost that is eating into the benefit of what you're getting from using these credit cards. And look, if you're getting value from this video so far with the information I've shared, make sure you hit the thumbs up button so YouTube can know this is a good video to share with more people. And let's say you don't even agree with some of the things that I'm mentioning in regards to credit. Maybe you have some pushbacks about using credit versus using cash. Go ahead and leave that pushback in the comments because, of course, it's always healthy to weigh out the pros and cons of things. So go ahead and post whatever disagreements you might have in regards to using credit. Or if you agree with what I'm saying, you can put that down in the comments too. And if you want help in obtaining these business credit cards so you can reap some of these benefits, I help business owners, whether you have a brand new business or a seasoned business, get access from anywhere to $50,000 to $200,000 in business credit cards. So go down to the link below and book a free funding strategy session with me so I can go over your situation and see how I can best help you get the money you need for your business. Because usually if you just go apply online, I've seen people get 60% less than what they get by following the strategies that I would lay out for you. Now let's talk about some of the highest ROI, return on investment options for using your business credit card in order to exponentially grow your business faster. Now, one of the first ways is going to be marketing. And let me show you an example here. This is another company that got built up based off of using business credit cards in order to fund their growth. It's called SellMax. They do cash for cars. So let's take a look at how they got started from the owner. Okay, their owner is Sean Poor, and he said, "We spend thousands of dollars a month running online ads and paying for them with our business credit card. When we were first starting out, we needed the credit cards because we didn't have the funds to purchase the ads right away. So it was a way for us to initially get off the ground, but now we enjoy being able to cash in on all the rewards points. We go on company retreats all the time, and much of our expenses are paid for due to credit card perks. These points keep adding up because we are constantly spending on the card. And this is a nationwide car buying service, so of course they are spending a lot of money. So as we all know, nobody can find your business and your products if they don't know you exist. So you have to be getting your name out there some way other than just word of mouth in order for people to know you exist and to exponentially grow your business. Because word of mouth is great, but when you start advertising, you are reaching a whole new audience of people that never even knew you existed. So, you can go to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you can run ads and, you would just pay the platform whatever the cost is for the ads. But let's say you don't really know how to create good ads. You don't know how to write copy. You don't know how to make the best videos. You don't even know what settings to put in on the advertising platform. Well, there are agencies out there that all you have to do is pay, the costs for the ads that the platform would already charge you and pay them for their services on top of that. And then you get to tap into their expertise, which would greatly cut down the amount of time it would take you to learn how to do everything. Because listen, most of the people that are really making a bunch of money, like millions of dollars, $10,000 months, $100,000 months, $1 million months, those people value their time more than they value trying to learn how to do something themselves. And they will spend the money in order to tap into somebody else's expertise so that they can get what they need faster and without wasting their time, because they rather spend their time doing what they like to do in their business and spending time with their family. So instead of it taking you, 6 months to figure out how to do a Facebook ad, then doing all the trial and error, wasting money, you can just pay somebody, get it done faster, because the sooner it's done the right way, the more money you start making versus wasting money over a few months or a year or so before figuring out and then maybe starting to make some money. But again, and also when you're getting started in business, the most important task to be focused on is marketing and sales, because you have to bring customers in and then you have to sell those customers to buy with you. And this applies no matter what you're in. There's going to be some form of marketing and sales happening, whether it looks like traditional retail sales or not. If you do real estate, you have to find properties or get people with properties to want to reach out with you. Then you have to sell them on wanting to sell you the land or sell you the property. This applies in all businesses. It just looks a little different because those are the two most important activities. Any money that you spend on those is going to be well worth it. Now, the next thing is going to be hiring. Why hiring? Because anytime you're in business, a lot of times we end up getting trapped in our business, working in the business and on the business. And a lot of times, to be honest, most of us get stuck doing more work in the business than on the business. Now, if you don't know what that means, working in the business is you doing the day-to-day tasks that need to get done for operations to happen, like talking to customers, doing some of the fulfillment, like maybe shipping products out and stuff like that. Working on the business is working on things that help drive the growth of the business, that help drive the development of the business. So doing things like marketing to bring more people in, or seeing what new products and services you want to offer to grow the business. Those things are more strategic in working on the business. You want to be working more on the business than working in the business as an entrepreneur. So as soon as you can hire people, you can now have somebody to take your place in doing those day-to-day activities that are not the high payoff activities for the business, but that need to get done. And now you can focus on the more important matters of actually growing the business. And eventually you can get to the point where maybe you're doing as little as possible in the business and you can spend more time with your family, spend more time doing other things and still have money coming into the business. So hiring is going to be another very important thing that's very high payoff, get you a lot of your time back, and can ensure your business is still running efficiently while bringing you in money more passively. Now, the next thing that you want to use your business credit for would be investing in tech and automation. Now, tech is, of course, the technology that you use within the business. Anything that you can use to make your business operate more efficiently, have things more streamlined, have things easier for your workers, for yourself to find information, for customers to get access to information. It depends on how your business is set up and what you need. Or let's say, you drive trucks or have a transportation business, maybe updating something about your vehicle or your truck. Maybe it's older and outdated and you just need to upgrade that. Or let's say you have a different type of business where you print t-shirts, you need to update the equipment that you have in there. All of these things are investments in technology that can help your business operate more efficiently and smoothly. And anything that's operating more efficiently and smoothly is going to be more profitable. And in regards to automation, this would be, there are some tasks maybe that need to get done in your business. If things are operating in a more automated way, that can be things that you don't necessarily need a person to hire a person to do, but it needs to be done systematically and it needs to be consistent in how it is done. It's something that can be automated from, maybe marketing and emails going out or from fulfillment on some of the products or services that you offer to other people. This is going to be the real benefit that you get from automation. And that's why investing in that can also help the efficiency of your business. Now, next, of course, we have inventory. If you have products and services that you sell, t-shirts, coffee mugs, candles, whatever it might be, then of course you're going to always want to have access to get all the materials that you need to put together what you need to put together, or just to order as much of the product as you need to have on hand, because you can't make more money without more product in that instance. So anything you can do to get more inventory means you can provide more sales and you can service bigger customers. Now, the next things I want to mention are very, very important and also overlooked. One of those things is having a plan. You don't want to get access to a bunch of money and not have a plan, or not have a plan that you're confident in. There have been a lot of times where I've gotten on the phone with people, did the strategy call with them to kind of see what they needed as far as funding. I've been able to identify, hey, I see that I can get you some money. One person in particular, I was like, I'll be able to get you the 100,000 that you needed. And I was able to say that to him with full confidence because I know exactly what to do. And I know I'm capable of getting this done for anybody, right? But this particular customer, this prospect seemed to be a little bit hesitant. And he had a bit of a situation going on. Now, this one time, looking at his situation, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something for you that I don't normally do. I'll allow you to pay on the back end. But because I'm gonna allow you to pay on the back end, of course, I will require more compensation because I'm gonna be taking on all the risk. And as all of us should know, the more risk you take on, the more you're supposed to be rewarded for that. If you invest in stocks, the riskier stocks are going to give you the highest reward, the highest payoff. While the more safe investments like, bonds and stuff like that, those don't pay as much because they're not as risky. This principle works with pretty much everything. And I was willing to do that at a percentage of what I'm able to get for him to display my confidence in my ability to be able to get him the money that he needed, which again was about 100,000. Now, even knowing that he would only have to pay on the back end after I've already done all of the work and I'm taking on all the risk and hoping that he pays me after I've done all the work, the prospect was still hesitant on moving forward. And that tells me one of two things. If you got all of this money, you're not really confident that the plan that you have is going to work because I'm showing you I'm confident in my ability to get it to you. Or you might be suffering from this mindset that gets a lot of business owners messed up. And that is tied to a saying that we've all heard, which is scared money don't make money. And I'm going to add to that by saying being cheap in your business will also kill your business. And I don't say that to throw shade or anything like that, but a lot of us don't want to or scared to spend money on business, or we want to spend as little as possible on things that we know that we need for our businesses. And then because we never take that leap forward, spend the money and get what we need, we end up either never growing the business or just being stuck right where we are for a longer time frame than what we would have had to been stuck had we just spent the money and done the thing that we need to do. I've done the same thing myself in the beginning of business. Let me give you an example. So, I had a rough start getting my business started, but I went to school for business. So I had, some idea of what I was doing. But by the time it came to the part where I was making some decent money in business, I also ran into a point where things started to kind of constantly be up and down. Things weren't consistent. And I knew that it would be beneficial to kind of learn from some other people to grow the business because I had been relying on free information online because I didn't see the value in really paying for information or paying coaches. I was like, hey, it's all these people teaching this stuff for free online. I'm gonna just learn from there. But I knew there was a specific conference in my industry where business owners would go. They would get a lot of specific knowledge and training in the industry and on business as well. And I was interested in going, but I didn't know about spending the money because, you have to buy the ticket for the conference. You have to buy the plane ticket. You have to buy the hotel. You got to spend money on food. And I'm like, this is a whole lot of money that I would end up coming out of pocket. I'm an introvert anyway. I really don't like, going out around people that I don't really know like that. And, they can't have that much more information that I'm going to pay to get versus what I already see available free to me online. Well, anyway, push came to shove. Things started getting tighter in my business and I started realizing, okay, I really have to do something. And I end up getting a ticket, going to the conference. Of course, it was super uncomfortable. Again, me being at a conference with all of these people. I'm an introvert. I don't know anybody. But what I started to see was I started to still make a whole lot of connections with a whole lot of people. I got so much extra insight from other people and what they were doing in their business, not to mention learning from the speakers that were there, learning extra tips and strategies that I would have never heard for free on the internet. And then there were some instances where there was some information that could not even be recorded. So, you had to be there to hear the information and take notes on it to even know some of the insight that was available at the conference. And there were even some things shared, from some influencers that I would see online that, they have things that they share online, but there's going to be more information that they share at a different level or in different environments. And I got to be privy to some of that information too. Now, this cost me like, over $3,000 really to do this. And then I invested in some more coaching and stuff after that once I saw the value in actually spending money. And that's just for information. But the value of what I got from that was worth way more than what I spent. And when I came back from there, I had so many more opportunities that opened up to me, people to collab with. And I found ways to make money more consistently and at higher levels than what I was able to do before from what I learned about marketing and sales. So it brought more money into the business, more money back to me, ultimately, of course. So again, it was well beyond worth it. And I learned that when you actually spend money, on the things that you really need for your business, it shortcuts your ability to see growth that you really need. If you don't spend the money, then you're going to spend time trying to figure out what you need to figure out. And that's going to cost you money because let's say there's information that you could have learned that could have been making you an extra $10,000 a month. Well, every month that you don't learn that information, you are not receiving $10,000 a month. So it's really costing you $10,000 a month to not have the information that you need to have. If there are things that you need for your business that could be bringing in extra money to your business and you don't pay the money to get what you need for the business, you are costing yourself that extra money. By trying to save money, you will actually kill your business and continue to struggle for longer than you have to. So spending that money will lead to growth and more money versus costing you money. Not to mention when you pay for those extra business expenses, whether it be, coaching, equipment, other business services, that stuff is tax deductible. So at the end of the year, the more money that you have made in profit, usually the more money you have to pay in taxes. Those expenses, whether it be large or small, can take away from your taxable income, which can lower how much you have to pay in taxes at the end of the year as a business owner. So it still helps you out at the end of the year too. Let's say that you knew that you'd be able to get $100,000 in business credit cards, opening up access to all the things. Think about all the things that you need for your business right now, or maybe that you don't even know that you need. If you had access to $100,000, would that help your business grow? And if somebody could guarantee you access to $100,000, how much would that be worth to you? And you might be thinking, okay, that's not cash money. This is in credit that you have to pay back, right? But guess what? On business credit cards, anything that you spend when you pay it off, you have access to all that money again. So you can always have access to that money. But if somebody could get you $100,000, how much would that be worth to you? Would you pay somebody $20,000 to give you access to $100,000? If that doesn't seem worth it to you, then just say, no, my services aren't like $20,000. I'm just using this for an example. But if you could get access to $100,000, why would it not be worth it to pay $20,000? If you spend 20 for it, you now have access to $80,000 that you did not have, and you get to do everything that we already discussed that you would not have been able to do with your business and grow it faster. But again, if you don't have a plan for spending that much money, then it just looks like all costs to you because you don't really know how you're going to use that money to make more money. But hopefully I've given you enough examples of how you can use the money so you have some ideas on what you can do when you get access to capital, however you get access to business capital. You should now have a way that you can see how to use that in order to ultimately benefit. And hopefully you have a change in mindset to understand that spending money will only help you make money as long as you spend that money on things that will help you make more money in your business. But in order to get access to that capital, you do have to have good credit. Now, if your credit isn't where it already needs to be, then go to this video so that you can actually see how to improve your credit so that you can start getting access to this capital. And if you need an idea of where you can go to try to get access to this capital and apply for the business credit cards, go right here so you can see some of the best options for getting business credit cards.